July 5th, 2025. A date that's just around the corner. But to some, it's more than just a number. It's a prophecy. This is the story of Ryo Tatsuki, the woman they call the new Baba Vanga, and her terrifying prediction about a disaster the world might not be ready for. A chilling warning from a modern-day seer who's made eerily accurate predictions before. Who is she? Why is this date causing panic in Japan and spreading to the rest of the world? And what exactly is supposed to happen? Ryo Tatsuki isn't a scientist. She's a manga artist. Others think it might be a cyber attack, an assassination, or something worse. When we zoom out, it's impossible to predict large-scale disasters. She simply drew what she saw, and people began to wonder. What if she's right? Again, is there any truth to this? Well, none of these are real quotes, but this story captures the essence of what happened. Finally, the online panic triggered by her followers, leading people to cancel trips to Japan and sparking media attention. First, the initial shock of Baba Vanga, the Bulgarian seer who accurately predicted many historic events, including the 2004 tsunami, the Fukushima nuclear disaster, and even the COVID-19 pandemic. Then the introduction of Ryo Tatsuki, the Japanese manga artist who seemingly shares this gift. Her prediction in 1999 sparked interest. As humans, we're naturally drawn to stories that tap into our fears and uncertainties about the future. While it's often cited as evidence of her powers, there's a crucial detail. Many experts had warned about the risk of pandemics long before the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, in 2018, the World Health Organization identified pandemics as one of the top 10 public health threats. People want to believe that someone can foresee disasters, especially during times of global uncertainty. They exploit our desire for certainty and our tendency to seek patterns in randomness. The date itself holds no particular significance in terms of astronomical events or historical records. It's just a date on the calendar. It provides a sense of clarity and direction in a world that often feels chaotic. Be cautious of claims that seem too sensational to be true, especially when they come from sources without credible evidence or a history of accurate predictions. Don't let fear or uncertainty cloud your judgment. It's a classic example of how online platforms can amplify baseless claims and turn them into viral sensations. Don't fall prey to the allure of easy answers or the comfort of certainty. Instead, embrace the power of your own intuition and critical thinking to navigate the complexities of life. That event wasn't actually predicted. Instead, she described a general scenario that could have been interpreted as such, but it wasn't a specific prediction. Remember, the future is not set in stone. It's shaped by the choices we make today. Stay curious, keep questioning, and trust in your ability to create the future you desire. People share articles and videos, not because they're necessarily true, but because they want to warn others to be the one who knew. And by doing so, they contribute to the spread of misinformation. This is a common tactic used by those who make predictions and subsequently claim accuracy. After the fact, regardless of the outcome, they can point to their prediction and argue that it came true because it could apply to multiple scenarios. And when faced with the vastness and complexity of the world, it's natural to seek patterns and connections. We yearn for understanding and sometimes even a sense of control in the face of uncertainty. And that's where these stories thrive. And then came her death in 2021, adding an air of mystery and urgency to her prophecies. On social media, the internet took her prophecy and ran. Hashtag July 5 disaster began trending in Japan, then Southeast Asia, and now globally. One TikTok racked up over 2 million views, theorizing about potential disasters. You see, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So while Ryo Tatsuki's drawings may be captivating and thought-provoking, they shouldn't be mistaken for factual predictions. Another shows a news anchor covering the panic. Reddit threads popped up, YouTube videos with terrifying theories. And even news outlets covered this whole thing. Even experts can only forecast within certain margins of error. They don't have crystal balls. They do, however, have data, trends, and complex models. They study weather patterns. They track seismic activity. They monitor volcanoes. But when it comes to predicting large-scale disasters, even the best scientist can only guess. But what makes her stand out is her ability to see or draw events before they happen. Back in 1999, she published a little-known comic book called The Future I Saw. In it, she predicted several real-world disasters, years before they actually occurred. She predicted the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan. She hinted at the rise of a global pandemic, and even referenced the deaths of major public figures with shocking accuracy. But in one of her final works, she added a new warning. A disaster would occur on July 5, 2025. No exact location, no clear cause, just the date. Circled, underlined, and emphasized. Enough to send chills down anyone's spine. What kind of disaster? Some say an earthquake. Yet somehow, this artist has delivered prediction after prediction. How? Maybe she's tapped into a hidden well of intuition. Maybe she stumbled upon some unknown pattern only visible to her. Or maybe, just maybe, there is something else going on. This story doesn't end with Ryo's predictions. It continues with how those predictions spread, and people started canceling travel plans to Japan. Now imagine this from Ryo's perspective. She never sought fame. She didn't try to profit. So let's break this down. Next, the emergence of various theories ranging from earthquakes and volcanic eruptions to tsunamis, typhoons, and assassinations. Now here's where things get complicated. While the idea of a modern-day seer is intriguing, it's crucial to approach such claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. That said, human curiosity and our fascination with the unknown are hard to ignore. It also doesn't help that social media and algorithms amplify these narratives, creating echo chambers that reinforce and spread fear. Take, for example, Baba Vanga's supposed prediction of the 2004 tsunami. Similarly, the notion of a global pandemic was not unique to Rigo Tachi. The allure of these predictions lies in their ambiguity. They're vague enough to be interpreted in various ways and applied to different situations, giving them a sense of universality. Here's another aspect to consider. These predictions often prey on people's fears and uncertainties, which is precisely what makes them so compelling. However, it's essential to recognize that such predictions capitalize on our vulnerabilities. In the case of Ryo Tachi's prediction about July, there's no evidence or reason to believe that anything unusual will happen on that day. The panic surrounding this date is entirely driven by social media frenzy and the attention-grabbing nature of fear-mongering. The lesson here is simple. When it comes to predictions about the future, it's always wise to approach them with a critical and discerning eye. On July 5th, 2025, take a deep breath, stay grounded in reality, and focus on what truly matters. This was The Curious Zone. If you want to keep diving into the world's strangest mysteries and warnings, subscribe now and stay curious.